that guitar.
It's showtime, folks.
Hello, once again, everybody out there in the YouTube sphere. I'm Andy, that is Greg, and this is Into the Music. And we get together and we bounce songs off each other. And I believe circumstances would dictate that you, sir, Greg, are bouncing a song off me. What say you?
Do you know the Meat Puppets?
I know of the Meat Puppets. This is another one of those bands where it's like, this is a band that I know influenced bands that I listen to, but have yet to go and dig into how or why or what they sound like.
So you don't know, could you guess as to what kind of sound they have?
I would say, given what I know about maybe just like hard rock or like some genre of punk or post-punk or something like that would be my guess.
Well, you would think by the name, they better bring it, right? I mean, with the really kind of crazy inventive name like that, if it's something that's like James Taylor or Willie Nelson, you're like, what the hell?
Really, how'd you get this name? It's like Engelbert Humperdinck. I'm like, what the hell?
They should be called like the Neat Puppets or something, But yeah, so Meat Puppets, and this is I was about to tell you actually what album, and what the hell am I'm breaking the mold on. No. Let me pull it back. So Meat Puppets, Split Myself in Two. That's the name of the song. I'm not going to give you the year of the album, anything like that. And go check it out and come on back.
Will do. Yeah, this is a ball of energy. I'm digging it though. Maybe not quite what I expected with this, but damn, it started like a ball of fire and they haven't stopped. So let's press on. If I would get an answer, gonna split myself in two. Till the tongue was glistening, he turned to me and gave me a smile. He said, I'm leaving, but I want what you owe me. I'll be back in a little while. That was the last time I saw him. Hope I never see him again. And I know it's not funny, but I hope someone really don't work for a friend. I hope Mary Lou wants to tell me what to do. Got a dollar on the corner and a razor in my shoe. If I don't get an answer, I'm gonna split myself in two. That guitar is, it's just interesting, right? Because it's not like it's not your conventional lead, but the sound that it's creating is I don't know, it's attractive to me for whatever reason. So we're bringing it back.
Wow. That that was just cardiac in nature. But I loved it. It was so frantic. And they were all seemed like they were on the edge of their seats, ready to just fall off the side of the world. Just reckless abandon. Yeah, I like this. And now to discuss with Greg.
Look at you in one piece. Yeah. And what do you gotta say? Because I would think that music comes at you pretty big. It's likely to actually split yourself into.
Yeah.
How'd you fare? How'd you handle it?
Astoundingly well, given how frantic it was. Like, it was good. I liked it. It was so, but it, like, I had to take a breather like 5-10 seconds into that thing. Like, all right.
Right out of the gate, right?
Collect yourself. Collect yourself. Now you know what you're getting. Prepare for, this is going to be the thing. This is going to be it. And it was just, I think at one point I described it as cardiac in nature, just like, you know what I mean? And it is all that. It is very much punkish. That was definitely the feeling I got. The weirdest thing that came to my mind while I was listening to it is, do you know the song by Sweet, Ballroom Blitz?
Yeah.
And have you ever heard covers of it sped up where it's like double timed?
Yeah.
Like at parts of this song reminded me of cover renditions of that where it's been double timed. It's like, and like that parts of this had that effect on me. So I was,
that's really interesting. Yeah.
But yeah, this was good. I only caught bits and bobbles from the whole lyric soundscape because it was competing. The guy was really competing with the loudness of and brashness of the music.
Yeah.
But I dug it because it was just a ball of energy, ball of fire, whatever horrible metaphor you want to use. It was all of that. And I liked it, and it helped me. It did help me get a better understanding of how this band could have been influential on the sounds of bands that came later, perhaps, and that I had listened to, though not having listened to the Meat Puppets. So this was good. It's cool. I think it was probably a great introduction to them too, just because it was short, sweet.
I think so.
Gave you a glimpse of their sound.
That's actually why I gave it to you. Yeah.
Good call. Excellent judgment.
And it's very punkish. In your face punkish, and you know, it's
is that really indicative of their sound overall?
You know, they evolved. They really kind of had their own type of sound. I mean, it's hard to put a genre. So like I'm looking at Wiki right now and it's saying alternative rock. I mean, that's too vague. Psychedelia, you know, some of it, cowpunk, which is really interesting. So if you hover over cowpunk, if I actually click on it.
Like California punk scene?
No, cowpunk or country punk. So it's a subgenre.
Oh, cowpunk. Okay.
Yeah, cow. Sorry, my accent, my New York.
No, it's okay.
A subgenre of punk rock that began in the UK and Southern California. Yeah, in the late 1970s, early 1980s, and they actually came from Phoenix, Arizona, and they formed in 1980. And it combines punk rock or new wave with country, folk, and blues. Yeah, you know, there's all these elements of like country, folk, and blues in. Maybe not so much in this one, but in a lot of the other stuff. And, you know, and you really hear it and you feel it in the sound, the lyrical subject matter, attitude, style, the whole thing. So that's what cowpunk is. And then also alternative country, hardcore punk. And their sound evolved throughout the 80s, 90s. They're actually still present day. They have 15 albums total, and the last one was 2019.
That's incredible. I had no idea that they were still putting out music.
Yeah, me too. And actually, I kind of lost track of them a bit. Their albums were kind of like, to me, hit and miss. So like to me, the first 3 or 4 were so good, and then and then I also started getting into other stuff too. I was getting into more of the dance kind of new wave. Kind of documented on his channel, plenty of times about, going into the nightclubs and more of that dance kind of new wave alternative rock sound. And so I never really sort of circled back to these guys. And so the fact that they have 15 albums, they have all this music, I need to get back into them.
When did this one come out, Greg?
This was 1984. So this is off their second album. Their first one was 1982, Meat Puppets. And then this is Meat Puppets 2. This is a really good album. You know, I have, you know, so folks out there, Andy and I, and also John, were talking about reacting to albums down the road. And so, Andy, this is one of them, not this one, but Up Upon the Sun, 1985 by the Meat Puppets. That one
So would
I
that
have
have
on
been
my
their
list.
third album?
That's their third one. I could have gone with this one too. This is a good album. But I figured I'd take a couple, 2 or 3 songs from this album and sort of whet your appetite and also John's. And then, you know, and then we can react to Upon the Sun as an album. But this album's so good. And this song, I believe it's the first one. I think it's the first song on the album, if I'm not mistaken. And it just comes out with a vengeance. You know, it wants to split you in two. I mean, I know I'm going for the joke, but it really does. You know, it's just, and it doesn't stop. And this frantic voice that just, you know, this high pitched kind of, and you know, it could actually annoy someone to the fact, you know, to the point where like I'm out. But there's something I don't know. I find that voice, and they don't always have a high pitched voice like that. And I don't know if it's always the same guy. It's 2 brothers and someone else, and we'll get into the information. But it's 2 brothers, and I think they might be trading off vocals from song to song.
It's one of those things though, where like if the tone, maybe if the tone of that voice was in another song, I'd hate it, maybe. But it didn't bother me because it matched the mood and the tone and just the whole atmosphere of the song. So it was like, oh, this just goes with that. Like that kind of like, it goes with the, you know, the sound of the music. So
right.
It made sense to me.
It's Kurt Kirkwood, guitar, vocals, and Chris Kirkwood, bass, guitar, and vocals, and then Derek Bostrom, drums. They were the founding members. And I believe that those 3 guys are still part of the group, right? And then you have 2 other guys, Elmo Kirkwood and Rod Stabinski. So maybe Elmo is the son of one of those 2 guys. And who knows about Ron? So they kind of like built up their group, maybe fleshed out the sound a little bit more. But yeah, and they haven't been active every single year. So it was 1980 through 1996. That was a pretty long run. And then they took a few years hiatus, and then 1999 through 2002, took 4 years off, and then 2006 to present day. And and with this song, and I actually have it, because we got to read the lyrics off, right? I mean, we got to.
No, because there were the pieces that I caught, I found interesting, like talking about someone leaving and hoping he never returns. Like that was the last time I saw him. And I caught that bit, but I want more of it to get a better understanding of what that's about.
Yeah, definitely. Before I get into it, so this is Kurt, who I believe in the liner notes for the album, quoted as saying, the album strikes an outside. Well, actually, so this is from genius.com, the lyric website that I use a lot. And so this contributor saying that this album strikes an outsider theme right away with this song. It's a song based on the fairy tale Rumpelstiltskin. And so Kurt is quoted as saying, the whole idea there is how you fit in as an interloper, the pariah, the outsider, which is really interesting. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Rumpelstiltskin used to scare the shit out of me as a kid. So that's interesting that they put it that way.
So verse 1, the man laid his hat on the table, hung his coat up. All right, I'm not going to be reading off the lyrics in that voice the whole time. I think you're going to want to shoot me. I think you're going to want to split yourself in 2 and then have the real self sitting at the computer so you have an alibi, and the other one is going to track me down and kill me. I just thought that up. What do you think? Now I'm actually scared. I'm going to watch you really carefully. I'm not going to. All right.
A hell of a ride from Baltimore to Long Island.
Yeah. The man laid his hat on the table, hung his coat up on the wall, sat down to dinner, and said, as soon as I am able, I'll say something nice to you all. Then he took a deck from his pocket, spread them so I saw them all. Then he turned his back to me, shuffled them, and drew me the card that said I never would fall. Oh, Mary Lou, won't you tell me what to do? I got $1 on the corner and a laser in my shoe. If I don't get an answer, gonna split myself in two. He spun till a ton was glistening. He turned to me and he gave me a smile. He said, I'm leaving, but I want what you owe me. I'll be back in a little while. That was the last time I saw him, and I hope I never see him again. I know it sounds funny, but I owe him some money. Really don't want him for a friend. Oh, Mary Lou, won't you tell me what to do? I got $1 on the corner and a laser in my shoe. If I don't get an answer, gonna split myself in two. And verse 3, and the instrumental break. How'd you like that? Maybe if you said it, and I'm sorry, but like all of a sudden it's like these guitars just go soaring high, like just high as that rhythm is just still bashing away. Isn't that amazing?
That is. Is this also the very end of the song? Where you're talking about that part?
Yeah, but going towards that, but like in the middle, you know, after the first two verses, then it's kind of like he stops singing, they're still playing, and then you got like it's like almost like a spaceship that's like, you know, lifting up and like going, whoa, you know, just soaring high. I mean, that's the way I interpret it.
It was very it was so much calamity. That the part musically that stood out to me the most was at the end when the notes started going higher and they were like scaling up, and then it just falls off, it just ends. Because I was like, I think even in the video, like they start to do it and I'm like, and then the song just ends. I'm like, shit. Oh. But I thought like they were like, I think the bass notes were going like super high and then it just ends. And I was like, okay, that part really stood out to me. I wish it went on for another like 10 or 15 seconds before they cut it off. But
cool.
But yeah.
And then verse 3, the man laid his hat on the table, hung his coat up on the wall. He sat down to dinner, said, as soon as I am able, I'll say something nice to you all. Then he took a deck from his pocket, spread him so I saw them all. Then he turned his back to me, shuffled him, and drew me the card that said, I never would fall. And then I think it's again, Mary Lou. Oh, Mary Lou, well, won't you tell me what to do? I got $1 on the corner and a laser in my shoe. If I don't get an answer, I'll split myself in two. That's kind of wild, having a laser in his shoe.
That I don't get the laser in the shoe part. So
yeah,
I want more explanation. I do get like, I'm getting the Rumpelstiltskin metaphor, though it sounds like he's also either a magician or a card dealer at like a gambling table, but he also spins things into gold because there's an allusion to that in I think the second verse or something like that, if I can remember from when you were like, you know, putting the lyrics out there. That's interesting. And the name, is it Mary Lou? Is that what you said?
Yeah, Mary Lou. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You couldn't tell from what he was singing in the song.
No, but what's really weird is like there was that one snippet of the verse where it was clear as day, where he was talking about like not wanting someone to return, and I'm like, okay, got that.
Yeah.
And then the rest, then the guitar picked up and did the loud part you were telling me about. I just got swooped back into the music and away from the lyrics as much. So,
would you go back to this?
I would go back to this song. I don't know if I'd go back to all their stuff just based on how, like you said, that they've dabbled in enough stuff that I'm like, ooh, what are the chances I'm going to like all the different things that they've experimented with? You know what I mean? But this I can see how it was a prelude to things I would like that were inspired by it. So I would check it out again. And I certainly wouldn't turn it off if it came on. I'd be like, okay, cool. This is that awesome Meat Puppet song.
They were, real inspirational artists for Nirvana, especially
yes that's the first band that came to mind. Yeah,
and in fact in that live MTV concert they have these guys coming in and playing a couple of songs. So
that's the extent of my knowledge of the Meat Puppets, is how much that performance and Kurt alluding to them is really all I had to work with. And it's a damn shame because that thing's been out forever and I've never gone back and looked them up to hear their own stuff. But
well, again, I'm going to have that one album that I'm going to have you and John react to. And I'm excited because these guys are legit. I mean, they have such a great sound and have great stuff, you know, and it varies, you know, it does. It varies from like, you know, in sound from like song to song. It's just, they're so unique and so innovative. So yeah. I mean, as far as the stuff that I know. And then, like I said, I mean, there's like 12 other albums that I need to really dive into. Well, there's a couple albums that kind of came after the one that I'm going to give you. And I started thinking, started losing interest. But I mean, these guys are so super talented. I'm sure that there's stuff on those albums, that I can dive into and just be like, Meat Puppets. But anyway, cool. I'm so glad that you like this, right? Overall.
Yeah, I'm so glad you shared it.
Great. And folks out there, let me know what you think about the Meat Puppets, about this song. What is your favorite Meat Puppet song? And what about that album, Up on the Sun, that I'm talking about? What about this album, number 2, and the one before it? Let me know what your favorite album is. Just tell me about the Meat Puppets and what do you think about them? And in the meantime, Andy and I will see every one of you on the next episode of, and like and subscribe on the episode of Into the Music.